Miami takes a 3-0 lead. So the finals are probably Miami and Nuggets, right? Like 100%. There's probably nothing that's going to change about that. And I just want to say that Miami played great. They blew Boston out of the park. Especially, I want to shout out a few names. Jimmy Butler, obviously. Gabe Vincent, obviously. Bam. And also Caleb Martin. Those are the guys I want to shout out right now, just first. I believe that Jimmy was Jimmy, right? He was making clutch shots when they actually mattered. And even though he didn't have that good of a game offensively, because most of the times on the stretch they were doubling him just when he touched the ball. I do believe that he made the right reads and he had a lot of assists, considering that he only played 31 minutes, like he barely played this game, right? I also want to say shout out to Bam, right? He played a great game. He also played a Jimmy-esque game where it was like you did as much as you were expected to do, right? They were great when they were playing. Like Bam was a plus 30, Jimmy was a plus 24, so they were positives when they were playing. So I want to say shout out to them. Then I want to get into the real people who actually won this game, and it's four guys. It's Gabe Vincent, it's Max Strus, it's Duncan Robinson, and it's Caleb Martin. I want to say that, Max Strus, he didn't play that great, but I saw him making some shots, which made me happy, especially in moments where we needed them. But let's get to these three guys. Gabe Vincent played phenomenally. It was probably the best game of his career. He played incredibly. He was making a lot of shots, and he played a lot of minutes, right? Like, he played the most minutes on the team, tied with Caleb Martin. And they single-handedly won us this game, right? Like, Gabe Vincent shot 6 for 9 from the three-point line, 11 for 14 from the field, and he was 100% from the free throw line with 3 assists, 2 rebounds, a steal, and a block, and 2 turnovers. And he had 29 points. In my opinion, he was awesome. And if you actually look at the game, he stayed in for way longer than he needed to, right? Like by the third quarter, he should have been out of the game. But obviously, since Kyle Lowry's old and he's our best point guard, it was just keep him in there, let him cook, let him get whatever he wants, because come on, the game was already decided by the third quarter. I want to say Duncan Robinson played phenomenally. He had a lot of threes. He shot very efficiently, and he had 4 assists. He had 22 points, and he shot 5 for 7 from 3, 7 of 11 from the field, and I want to say that he was initiating some fast breaks, which were very good. And finally, I want to say my MVP of this game, if you actually just watch the game, it's Caleb Martin. He was making good shots when they mattered the most. He was playmaking like crazy. He was actually, getting everyone in the offense involved. And he was playing a strategic brand of basketball where he was playing lockdown defense, and on the other end, he was playing phenomenal offense. I want to say that this team and this game showed a complete side of the Heat, which was just insane. It showed that first, the Celtics are not prepared, and I want to say this again, Joe Mazzulla is not a good coach. I don't understand why he got the job. Like, yes, you have a good record with him, but should that be enough, right? When you can't run good plays in the playoffs, if your guys underperform, you don't run the right plays, and when you run these 8-man weird rotations, which limit the minutes of good role players, which you literally signed just so they could help out your stars be less tired. I want to say that the Celtics shot 26% from 3 as a team and 40% from the field as a team. They had a horrible game, and this mixed with 15 turnovers. On the other hand, Miami shot 50% from 3, 56% from the field, and had 9 turnovers. I want to say that the problem is the Celtics. The coaching is horrible, right? The plays that they're running are bad. And they just don't look like a cohesive team. It looks like whatever offense. it looks like, yeah, they make rotations and they make adjustments, but it's like when you put two on Jimmy Butler, how are you doing that in the first quarter of a playoff game? Like, what do? Are you going to expect that the shooters are not going to go and hit their shots? Are you going to run and are you going to run offenses which are so stagnant on just shooting bad threes as they shot 42 threes and made 11 of them, while Miami shot 35 threes and made 19 of them? It's like your whole offense is based on three-point shooting, right? Where most of your shots were just threes and you don't take good, effective shots. Or you're going to try to live at the foul line. Like, Miami took 19 less shots than Boston, but they made 7 more of them. And so, in my opinion, here is a problem of coaching. You cannot run this stupid offense that they run. Jayson Tatum should not get the ball every time. That's why you have Marcus Smart, who in this game was playing phenomenally. But then, after a while, he had to be benched because there was nothing else for him to do. Yes, his offense is not that effective in terms of percentages, but I believe that they're not using him to his highest potential, as he's been stepping up, and he actually from the starters had the best plus minus, which was a -6. And I believe that this all comes down to that Miami just figured it out. Miami's a better team than Boston when it comes to coaching, when it comes to culture, when it comes to running plays, when it comes to knowing what to do. They're a better team. But when it comes to talent, when it comes to having experience together, right, in terms of like having your core group of guys together, Boston is better. But talent doesn't win against coaching, and we've seen that this postseason, right? Like when Doc Rivers and Joe Mazzulla faced off, talent won because those are two bad coaches, right? But Mike Malone is beating Darvin Ham. Eric Spoelstra is beating Joe Mazzulla. And in my opinion, honestly, I just think the Celtics look washed. I don't think they're going to take a game from Miami because Miami does not lose at home, and they've made it very tough for people to lose at home. And I just believe that, they're really over with. And I believe that this should start a new chapter in the Celtics. Not where maybe they trade their guys, but maybe re-sign Ime Udoka, right? And change a few things on the roster. Because this team is good enough to win a championship. They were favorites for a lot of the seasons for a reason. They were a number 2 seed, so that means that they can actually play together. It's just that this team is led by a player turned coach who does not have the experience, who should have never been a primary coach, and who should have never been in this position coaching this good of a team. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's Joe Mazzulla. Now, Miami did great. Miami was awesome. They made their shots. They played effective offense. When one guy wasn't going, they would let the other one play. They let everyone get some touches throughout the game. And the game was decided by the third quarter. And let's be serious about that. Like, they were up 30 in the third quarter. And I believe this was just a Miami masterclass. Miami was efficient. They were fast. They were good. Their role players stepped up. And even when Boston tried to stop down their main guys, their Bams, their Jimmies, their Kevin Loves, who only played 5 minutes. I don't know why that happened. Maybe he got injured or something. But they figured out a way to win with their role players and blow Boston out by 26 points. I believe that Miami did great. They're most likely going to advance, and this is a huge win for Miami, especially doing it at home in front of your fans. This gives you a lot of confidence versus whatever team you're going to face in the finals, which is probably Denver. I would say that Miami looks good. I don't know if they're going to win the championship, but I know that they definitely look like a team which could win the championship, and they're probably going to make the finals if they continue. I want to say, again, shout out to some of these players, right? And from the Celtics, I do want to say shout out to Derek White because he made 50% of his threes. That's literally all that I want to say. And I also want to say shout out to Peyton Pritchard and Luke Cornett, which took the garbage time at the end of the game to get some shots up and get some points up. I like when role players who don't get a lot of minutes can actually shine in those moments because it's good for them, it's good for their stats, and they might actually get some play time if they play well enough in that garbage time. So yeah, Miami won. They're up 3-0, and they're probably going to win the series. Let's see what happens tonight with Denver and Los Angeles.